Alright, so this is an offline run I'm doing. I didn't really feel like using mic or having a chat. Oops, wow, I did not split at all. I did that. I guess I split late, it's fine. And I split twice, which is not fun, but whatever. See, I don't really feel like talking that much, but there's also a lot of differences between the GameCube and N64 Animal Crossing, especially for this category. So I guess I figured if I'm gonna do offline runs... Oh, stop talking to each other. I'm glad that she didn't get angry because of whatever that conversation was. Would have been... Then I couldn't have delivered the package. Anyway, so I guess I just want to talk about version differences. There's actually kind of a lot of them. Some pretty obvious ones. The first one being there's less bugs in the game. I'm gonna have to focus for 1 second. Back to split 6:30. Yeah. But that was a good. These villages are grouped really well for intros, especially because you don't have to talk to Toromir. I guess that's the first difference you would notice. You have to go to the fountain at all. 3 Noti Pay. One of those 2 villagers. I don't know which one yet. Off the top of my head. Anyway, so there's less bugs in the game. That's the most obvious, I'd say. And the less bugs in the game actually do matter quite a bit. One bug that isn't in this version is, like in the N64 version specifically, all these things are in N64 version. One bug that's not in the game is Pond Skater. And like Pond Skater, it's in a split with rarer bugs. There are other bugs in the split that are rare. And it's 5%, whatever. There's some 2% and blah blah blah. But just pure rarity isn't the best metric for a bug or fish. Bugs that are fishing in this game. The best metric is like, you know, encounter rate. How many bugs are you seeing per minute or whatever? And Pond Skater has a big drag on encounter rate, generally. Just because, like, you know, normally the high encounter rate, the highest encounter rate acre in your town, the general strategy you use for most Animal Crossing speedruns, for, like, you know, all the GameCube version stuff, use the train station. Just because, you know, it only has 1 bug tree in the entire acre for like, the good one. And, that bug tree is right next to the border. So, you know, you can quickly see if there's a bug or not on it, and if there's not, you don't have to run very far. So yeah, obviously, like that train station acre is good. And so generally, you want to spend all your time there. Gabriel. Generally, you want to spend all your time there, and so, if you don't have a pond, like, really close to there, then you're going to have to, you have to go to a different acre, which has less, like a lower encounter rate, because there might be multiple bug trees, and you can't see them all and the pond at the same time, so you don't know what's spawning, and just in general, it slows things down, Pond Skater does. And also, because you don't know if stuff is spawning, and all that, the actual rate at which you can look for Pond Skater alone is also lower. And so it could, even though it's a 5% bug, a 2% bug in the train station, you might get faster because it's 2% sure, but you're rolling that 2% way more frequently than with Pond Skater. So oftentimes Pond Skater itself has a low encounter rate, but it also slows down every other bug you're looking for in the... There are exceptions, like... I don't actually know which one this is. Left or right. There are exceptions for that with Pond Skater, like if the acre directly left of your train station has a pond in it, And you can see it from the acre border. There's a further one. It's like if you have pond post or pond dump, you can see both those ponds from the acre border and yada yada yada. It ends up being all okay. Do not trample flowers, please. But like, you know, having post or dump left at the train station's like 50-50, and then having it be the right, having those ones have the dump is 1 in 3 each. So it's like 1 in 6 runs are gonna have left of train station have a pond visible, and then there's also Nooks has a pond there, 1 in 12, but the Nooks pond is worse because you can't actually see it from the acre border, so you can only get to it by walking past Nooks, and you will do that to unload bugs, so it's not the slowest thing. But still, even then, a lot of the times your town will not have a pond in the A acres, and you'll have to go run around somewhere in the bottom of your town, and it's Pond Skater's low encounter rate alone, and it slows everything else down in the split. So that's why, even though it's 5%, Pond Skater is... Also, you could just straight up not have a pond. And then you have to use the lake. And catching a pond skater in the lake is terrible. Or you could not know if you have a pond or not and run around your whole town looking for it, and eventually you find one in, like, police station or museum. You could spend time looking for it, and then it could... Still, if it's not in the A acres right next to your train station, then it's not fast. Catching the pond skater in the lake is a nightmare. Like, it's hard enough to catch in ponds when the ponds are small, but God, in the lake, where it's just outside the reach of your net 95% of the time or whatever. No, no thank you. So I guess that's difference. So yeah, pond skater, like I said, it might not be the rarest, but it certainly slows things down. Another thing they removed is ant, or not removed, is, oh, why did I save and continue? Another thing that's not in the game is ant, and you might be like, oh, well, ant's not so bad. You get candy, but you're going to Nooks anyway to sell bugs, right? Well, this version doesn't let you select multiple bugs at once. You can't, like, you know, go into your menu and press X and select multiple things. The X button is just C right, or, I mean, if you're using N64 controller. The C buttons do not do that twice. The C buttons are just an extra control stick or something. Like in the menu, if you press C right, it'll... Oops, forgot to reset. It's fine. If you press C right in the menu, it'll just scroll through your menu. So there's no reason to go into Nooks at all. So it is good that there's no ants, so you don't need to buy candy. I'm taking care to press the right buttons. Oh wait, no, I need to... Wow, how did I set up the file a while before I actually sat down to do runs. That's why the time is so screwed up. And why Nooks was closed. Whatever. Not a lot of time lost. So those are 2 bugs that are gone, and then Pillbug, Mole Cricket, and Bagworm are all not in the game. So the entire January split does not exist in the N64 version. And that's great because obviously it's really, you can kind of look for ponds or for Pillbug and Mole Cricket at the same time as each other, and you can kind of look for Pillbug and Bagworm at the same time as each other. But you kind of have to do them all alone. You need rocks for Pillbug, obviously, and you don't need rocks at all or ponds in this game. So there's none of that consideration has to go into... You don't have to think about it at all during intros or chores or whatever. So that's nice. And with Mole Cricket, sure, I mean, Mole Cricket spawns a lot. But, I don't know how many squares there are on an acre. It's 16 by 16. You can... I think it's 16 by 16. Is that 64? I don't remember math. I never memorized my squares that far out, not past 12. But that would make sense. Produce 64. Because I do know that 12 is 144. So it's like whatever, however many. There's a lot of squares in an acre. Because I think it's 16 by 16. Regardless, I'm getting off topic. So basically, you always want to get mole cricket in the house acre because there are only like because of all the pavement in the house acre. There's only and I guess they can't be within 2 squares of an acre border, so it's not actually 16 by 16 bug spots. So you subtract 2 off of each end of that. It's a smaller square. 12 by 12. 144. But it's reduced. It's reduced even more, just in the house acre, because of all the pavement everywhere. You just dig up a few spots and you're good. So usually you look for it in the house acre, but you can't get bagworm or pillbug there. Maybe the acre border next to you, you can get bagworm or pillbug, so you can kind of combine that and all that. But still, it's pretty much you're looking for them all alone. January itself has like an 80% no bug spawn rate. It's more than 80, but it's less than 90. Somewhere in there, I forget the number. But in general, chances of nothing spawning are rather high in January. That combined with not being able to do them all at once, and just the fact that all 3 bugs are invisible until exposed. Like you have to dig it up or hit a tree or hit a rock. You have to either have the shovel in your hand or nothing in your hand, and so you're switching back and forth, equipping shovel, unequipping shovel to shake out trees, and bagworm's 2%, and the fact that you can't really look for other bugs with it, and the 80% nothing spawn rate. Yeah. January's a bad split. For those reasons. So having all 3 of those bugs gone is great. And I said ant already, and ponscat already. Mosquito's gone, which doesn't really affect anything. You that's the one true, you rarely lose time to mosquito. Usually you get it when you get firefly in June. Right now I'm looking for firefly in June, but it's raining. I'll get to that in a minute too. Spider's gone as well as bagworm, and spider doesn't matter as much as bagworm because when you're looking for spider, you're also looking for a million other bugs, some of which are tree bugs even still. So that's all good. And then the other bug that wasn't in the game yet was snail, and snail means you don't need rain, which is fine, and it's like 4% and on flowers, and the real thing is you don't need rain anymore. So that's nice and runs. Not have to worry about rain. So those are some things missing for bugs, and basically all of that is really good. Other things missing are, also I don't need to buy shovel because, January means no shovel. There's no bugs that are revealed with the shovel. So that's something that's missing. You don't have to talk to Tortimer, I already said, that's missing. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to talk to Tortimer or whatever. There also is no actual golden net. Oh, is that gonna come over here or not? Yeah, it is. Right? Come on. It is a... So yeah, some stuff's missing that's good, some stuff's missing that's bad. Another bad, it's literally going in a circle. I hate this. Is there anything else that's missing that's important? Can't really think of anything right now. Maybe I will in a minute as I keep talking about the differences. So that's one version difference. And then there's just, it's like, the other main thing missing is events. Oh, and nook codes. So with nook codes missing, that means that you have to get net by spending at least 4,000 bells in the shop, and so that means you need bells. So generally we go to January 1st, get the bells and the money for New Year's, and then buy 2 grab bags, because that's also New Year's, and then move to a different day. Just go down, please. So then you go to a different day, and then you've spent your 4,000 bells quickly without having weird junk going on. Then you get net, and net's guaranteed, so it's fine there. But the other thing, so not having nook codes is okay. The biggest difference with not having nook codes is normally on the day you finish chores, it's impossible for it to rain. So normally you have on the day you finish chores, you do that split I just did there, the Firefly split, because if you just finish chores and then you do Firefly, it'll never rain then. And then the other thing with rain is there are events. Normally you would do this split on the 4th of July. If you do this split on the 4th of July, it'll never rain on you. And so that won't ruin the split. Every single split in the run can be ruined by rain, except for January, which again isn't in the game. Lots of cicadas today. So yeah, January's not in the game. So basically every split needs no rain, but I'm messing up my routing stuff. Every split in the game needs no rain, but they don't all, obviously, like, you can't control rain the way you can in the GameCube versions. Because normally it's like day you finish chores, but you don't have a net on the day you finish chores in this version because there's no nook codes, and then another one is 4th of July for this. There's no 4th of July in the game, I mean, which kind of makes sense. But still, there's no day in July that'll never rain, so 10% chance of rain. Probably not going to happen that often, but still, it's possible for it to rain during this split. October's the only normal route split that can get rain. Like in normal Animal Crossing, you can get rain only in October. Is this also Bug Tree? No, it's not. It's just this one. Huh. Not spawning any bugs for me right now. Probably just unlucky. Is there any other thought I had on that? So yeah. Oh, and then September, Sports Festival. Prevents rain in September, but doesn't in this game because there's no Sports Festival. There's no Sports Festival, no 4th of July, and you can't catch bugs on the same day you do chores. 3 extra rain splits. In September's like 40% chance of rain all the time, so that'll definitely happen. And then the June is 30, so that also definitely happens. And so it does kind of suck. That's one. Events are missing, nook codes are missing, bugs are missing. I think that's all the missing stuff. Stuff that's just plain unique to this game. The biggest unique thing to this game is the way that bugs spawn and fish is just completely different. I mean, all the normal rules apply, but the game remembers the last couple bugs it spawned. If I spawned this and scared away, normally I would just come straight back into the acre and there'd be another bug. It's impossible. Right now the game remembers, hey, you scared a bug in the left and bottom left acres. It will not spawn bugs those two, which is why we have to run in this brick, block formation. But then there's also a chance of nothing spawning, and if you get, if you're running in a circle and you, right now I've scared off, you don't even have to scare them off, you just have to unload them. Oh, that's banded right there. Is it still around? The game remembers the last 2 acres you scared off, spawned bugs in, and you see that? There's actually 2 bugs in this acre because it can spawn more than 1 bug. It can spawn only 2 bugs at a time. But yeah, so it's pretty clear that there's differences with the way the game spawns bugs. And the best model I've had to think about it, the best solution to the differences is you want 4 bug acres in a 2x2 block. You want 4 bug acres in a 2x2 block, and you want flowers in each of them. And so that's why I went immediately to nooks before intros. and planted out flowers in these. You can't get flowers as often in this version because you don't go to nooks as often. Oh shit. Am I still catching this thing? I let it get away. Damn. It's darn, I already have it. Anyway, I misread what direction the band was going. It says you're not going to nooks at all. Something, something, something. I forgot what I was talking about entirely. Something about something, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, since you don't enter nooks at all, it's really not good to buy flowers in nooks. So, and you wouldn't be able to buy 4 flowers anyway. And you really do want 4 flowers. Not only, I'm a huge fan of not trampling your flowers ever. Not just because people are like, the easy thought is, oh, if I trample the flowers, you know, mantis won't spawn or ladybugs won't spawn. I'll get other spawns instead, and that's just not true. That's not how bug spawning works in Animal Crossing. If a bug would spawn during the month but can't because you don't have flowers in your acre, if the game's RNG rolls that flower bug, nothing spawns. So as long as your flowers are like near the acre border, you won't actually be getting. It's not like the bugs spawning on the flowers are like blocking you from getting other junk. And if the game is going to spawn a butterfly and there are flowers in the acre, it spawns it on the flowers instead of spawning it wherever the hell in the middle of the acre. That's the I haven't been checking the tops of these trees for purple butterfly. I've kind of forgotten that's a thing to consider. So yeah, having flowers doesn't prevent bugs from spawning. And it controls where butterflies can spawn, so you don't have them spawning outside your vision. They're only spawning right in front of you. So yeah, flowers are really actually quite good to have in your town, in your bug acres, or when you're hunting for bugs. So that's my logic behind I want at least 4 bugs, and bugs do not spawn on tulips in any version. So in this version and in other versions, I like having flowers hanging out. Is there also a bug here? Am I crazy? Oh, there it is. Trampling your flowers will never help you unless it's just like, oh, I don't want to have to, you know, go through the effort of, I don't want to have to go through the effort of scaring away the occasional ladybug. I think it's, because that is time lost to scaring away the ladybug or the mantis or whatever it is in your split, but I think it's worth it for controlling where butterflies are. You can just see it and then immediately be like, okay, there's a butterfly here. Understood. Hope that makes some amount of sense, my logic there. Alright, what do I still need? I need the ladybug. Another ladybug, which I could get in a different split if I need to. Banded and purple butterfly are the main 2 I need still. 2, 1, 2, pause. There's no good time to, okay, so I guess bees. I haven't talked about bees at all. Wait, did I catch one of them? Yeah, I did. I did behind a tree. It was cool. So normally I usually try to get bees in January because you have net unequipped and you're shaking trees for bagworm anyway. And hey, sometimes a bagworm just pops out when you're kind of shaking trees out. It happens often enough and the bug is terrible enough that I go for it. I usually like bees in January. And the other common place I get them is just maybe September at the end of the run. That's the thing is, there are a couple splits that are pretty decent for shaking out trees in, and there are other splits that aren't. And in the case of splits that are actually in this run specifically, I would say that the first split is not good for getting bee in, because it's, you know, just get Firefly and go home. The second split, both of the July splits are fine. Once you only have like 1 bug left and you're not constantly catching bugs, you can just unequip your net and shake some trees. That's what I do. And then also September, because same reason. When you've only got like 1 or 2 September bugs left, shake out the bug trees in your 4 acres you're loading between. That'd be my best advice. Best advice for bee. There's no, I don't, yeah. And that's kind of the reason why I have September last, somewhat, is because I like bees to be in my last split of the run. You could move September earlier because you want it to not rain. I could see that being a logic point there. You're like, oh, rain sucks. I don't want to do September last. It's 40%. It's the highest in the run. That's good logic, but I like having a split last. If I did October last and I still needed bees, you can't be doing bush, like, it just doesn't mesh with the way October flows the same way this one, where I'm checking all these trees, like, yeah. I think the way I do it is fine. It does mean September is late instead of doing it earlier, but then again, I think both the July splits, I want them earlier more than I care about raining once on me in September. So that's kind of the whole route there. In terms of the differences with bugs spawning. I think I said everything I wanted to say about that topic. Another difference is bugs can cross acre borders without despawning, and there's 2 types of bugs where that matters for. One is anything that moves like migratory locusts, long locust, all the locusts. Those 2 locusts, grasshopper, all the, why did I scare that off? All the bugs in, all the bugs in October, all 3. Those can all cross acre borders, which is kind of annoying. You have to be a lot more careful with them. Then the big one is banded dragonfly can cross acre borders without despawning, like this. And also, it doesn't despawn when it hits objects nearly the same way. In like normal Animal Crossing, GameCube Animal Crossing, banded will just despawn if it hits an object. Sometimes it'll reflect, sure, sometimes. But then a lot of times it won't. Okay, that's purple butterfly. That's everything. There's no way it actually goes away, right? Like, it's gotta... Come on now. Purple butterfly also despawns in normal Animal Crossing a whole lot more often than this one. Bugs just don't despawn in this version. It's... As far as I'm aware, without you going an acre away from them. They can fly around in annoying spots over the pond or whatever the hell. As long as you don't, like, this thing probably with this many missed catches. Also, purple butterflies just have straight up different AI in a lot of ways. They don't seem to hang out at the top of the trees and then change pattern to flying down low. I've never seen a purple butterfly do that in this game. They kind of almost are under the trees. They still definitely are tree bugs. But they're easier to catch and harder to miss in this version. So that's one thing. That's another kind of difference. As always, if ladybugs are the last split you need, or the last bug you need in the split, you can go to March, and ladybugs are like, each ladybug is like 20%. It's like 40% chance of ladybugs. I always opt for that just because of how much an increased percent chance March is. And March, I don't think it really rains very often. You know, I haven't before ever gotten rain when I switched to March just for ladybug being my last bug in the split. It doesn't take, I mean, it's a save and quit. It's actually save and quit, which means you lose like a minute. But I feel like I would on average spend more than a minute looking for ladybug in July. So I usually do it in its own dedicated split. I need black ladybug, which I did scare off before, so this is pure time loss due to me being silly. Oh hey, yeah, MP6 also can scare off. Wow, she's really staying on top of those flowers. Uh-oh. Don't. Thank you. Alright, now we're done with this split. Alrighty then. So yeah, no acre border makes Banded Dragonfly free. It goes from being the hardest bug to catch in the game to absolute free. So really, you don't have Pond Skater in July, and Banded Dragonfly is easy. Those are like the two biggest problem bugs that I've ever faced in July. And July and January are the two worst splits in the run. January's not in this run, so I think that's really all good there. Those are things that have been removed from the game. Those are some differences. I said I didn't want to talk. That was my reason for this being an offline run. I might actually just take this video and upload it to YouTube, and whenever I eventually PB, link it as a description of this game. So I don't think this is gonna actually PB unless I finish up unless I have a really good July morning. And you don't need rain here, so normally it would be like, oh, it didn't rain. Or well, I mean, normally I would straight up use the other split. Sorry, I would use early in the month. So that the rain chance is like 50% instead of 10. But yeah, still like 50% is not guaranteed either. Oh, another version difference is bugs scare away much easier. You want to, like, that swing, like, would have hit the ground if there wasn't a bug on the tree. But the bug hitboxes are pretty big. You need that. You need to, like, barely be getting the bug at all every single time. Or else you're gonna miss. They scare off with less, it seems like unprovoked, the bugs will just be gone. This is something I mentioned that could happen. It happens way more in this split than in the earlier ones, is that if you get nothing spawning, and if you remember, there's like, the game remembers the last 2 acres you spawn in, which is why we do this whole brick thing. If you keep getting nothing spawning, which is more likely in this split than in the one before, you could have 2 acres, can't spawn anything, because they've most recently spawned bugs, and then 2 acres are not spawning anything, and you go in a circle and you end up not having any bugs at all. So sometimes I'll refresh, or I'll leave my block of 4 if nothing's spawning after like a circle, just with the idea of making it so that the 2 acres that aren't spawning bugs because they can't, now they both can, and then I'll probably start getting bugs spawning again. In these 4 acres. It is a higher nothing % chance in this split than in the one before it. So it's something to keep an eye on. This again, I think that's 3, maybe 4 straight in a row. Maybe I could have gotten a spawn still, but still. I'm gonna throw an extra acre into my rotation just until I start getting bugs spawning again. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a bit locked out of bugs right now. So I'm gonna go south. I hope I get a bug spawn here. Oh, nah, it's just a flat stack. And that does significantly slow down this split. The fact that there is like, it's just, you know, the N64 version. Weird remembering your spawn stuff, blocking spawns, but also the split doesn't have the highest bug spawn rate in the game. Did I talk about all the differences? Oh yeah, bigger range affects swinging at bugs on trees, but bigger range of getting scared away also really affects specifically migratory locust, though you have to be a bit more careful on all the ones that move. Migratory locust already has like a wider range of, it feels like, than like long locust and grasshopper and etc. But God, in this game, you gotta get into your prepped net position and barely like tap down over and over again for migratory locust, it feels like. Even more than normal, and sometimes you just kind of gotta let it hop to you. Bigger than normal scare away range, and oh god, that's fine. Bigger than normal scare away range, and it can cross acre borders, so it can just run all the way south down to the beach and stuff and lure you away as you swing at it twice per swing at it twice per acre, and then it's gone again. Yeah, migratory locusts can do very nasty things to you in this version. I can't think of any more version differences. I think I've covered everything. The main points are there's less bugs, and that's nice. Bugs scare away, further away, and cross acre borders, which makes migratory locust hard, but otherwise doesn't really matter that much. Just swing at stuff from far away. Use 4 acres, and if you're starting to get like no bugs spawning, you might want to refresh your acres by going outside of the 4. You want flowers in each, as always. I really am a fan of flowers in all my acres. I'm looking for bugs in, even if I don't need, because it controls butterfly spawn locations. Lots of annoying bugs removed. Banded dragonfly is free. It's really not a bad category. If it wasn't for the whole different rules for N64's bug spawns and fish spawns, it would be better. I do think that the fact they have to do this weird circular run and have 4 good acres and all that, I guess I didn't really talk about the 4 good acres. I usually use either nooks or post is going to be next to river start, like the river acre. I don't like the river acre, obviously, because trees on the other side of the river, blah. Don't use that. So look at your map and be like, what side's the river on? And then go to the opposite side and use those 2 A acres and the B acres under them, generally. Times that's bad is that one of the possible nook acres, if you have nook acre opposite, one of the possible nook acres has no bug trees. Obviously, you want a bug tree. Have to watch out for that. And then the other thing is if you have post, oh, thank you. What? Yeah, it is. For a second there, I thought the game was telling me that was wrong, and I was like, "Are you excuse me?" So yeah, come on. So don't use the nook acre with no bug trees, and then one of the post acres, one of the bug trees is like behind post, so you can't actually see the bug on it. That's obviously slow. You want to be able to see the bugs you're trying to hunt. This might still actually PB. If it does PB, I'll add it to the. I mean, I will upload to the leaderboards. I think my PB was solid from here on out. It's probably going to be not a PB by like a couple seconds. Yeah, so if you can't see the bug tree behind post, I just usually just reset. And if there's no bug trees in your nooks, then I reset that too. So I reset 1/3 of all runs is the total conclusion there, just instantly on town generation. I don't know how, I wasn't paying attention to how many bushes are in my block of 4. This one got away from me and is inside of the post. Oh, it's up on the wall. Get out of there. They can't do this on top of signs and shit, I don't think, in normal Animal Crossing. Maybe they can. I've never had it happen because, God. Bugs aren't usually this twitchy. There are bushes in 3 out of my 4, I think. Fine, click it again. This one not have a bush. Alright, 3 out of 4 acres have a bush. I will cut that out of my route, walking around here. You know what, these 2 acres might both be the 2 acres that are reserved, because I've just got a bug in them. No, I had a bug here, I remember. Gotta start going outside my... This is probably a better group of 4 here, as long as I'm going far enough away to unload stuff. I want to do kind of wide circles through so you're constantly unloading the things that you ran past earlier. There we go. Oh, I see it. Oh, it's there. Yeah, it's probably not going to PB unless I have some sort of, you know, freakishly good September. I forget if I was talking about anything about the game differences. Oh yeah, I guess just setting up your acres. Things that are a bad town is the 2 acres I said. Usually underneath your A acres that are opposite the river, you'll have 2 like blank acres, and that's good. You really don't. The thing you want is you want no cliffs or rivers, because cliffs have bugs spawning on top and bottom half of the cliff, and rivers left and right half of the river. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So I just use A acres because they'll never have a cliff or a river, and if it's opposite the river, so on the opposite side of the town, you usually won't have a cliff or a river right under them, so use those. It's possible to have no bug trees in the acres directly below your A acres. Like your B acres under your, on the opposite side of the river could have no bug trees, which could be bad. And if you have like a 3-level town, maybe you'll have a cliff there, and that's bad too. But generally, it's just like I reset 1 in every 3 runs because of having focus. Nooks, no bug trees or posts. Tree behind the house. Tree behind the building. Okay. I think that brings to a close my super rambly run through of this game. Oh, another difference is Firefly. Instead of a ton of fireflies over the water, you might have noticed during that first split, I had 1 single firefly. There are 2 different like swarm bugs, I guess you could say. Ooh, hey, no rain. Nice. 2 different like swarmy bugs. By the way, that would have never caught a migratory locust. Migratory locusts, God, nothing happened and they fly away. Swarm bugs, 2 of them. Yeah. It's red, dragonfly, and firefly. There are multiple of them in the same acre as each other. That does not happen in this version. Oh, I got rid of the flowers here. That sucks for mantis. So there will be 1 red dragonfly in the acre I eventually get in. And it can be hard to spot. Also, it's rarer than... It's the rarest bug in the split, sure, too. That doesn't help. There's migratory. Just take it slow and be prepared for it to jump away from you, and just try to get it when it's not doing that, or wait, like predict it jumping into you. So all I've got left is red dragonfly, which again, there's only gonna be 1 of them in the acre, and that sucks. And then the other one I need is grasshopper, which I'll be able to hear because it's loud. There's no flowers in this acre, or there's no bushes in this acre. Because there's no bushes in that top acre, I'm gonna switch to what I did for October, which is these 4 here. Just for bush's existence. And because these 4, again, don't have a cliff or whatever, I could have used these 4 acres. Or these 2 and the ones above them instead of the ones I went with. But I just don't think. I just go straight for I didn't even notice until recently that I had pretty good acres at the top here. So yeah, all I need left is red dragonfly. If it spawns, it's gonna be somewhere in the acre. And timing, there is no golden net, so timing ends on last catch. Swarm bugs don't exist, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, I think that's really it. I think I've covered everything. Every version difference and thing you would need to know if you wanted to play this version of the game. Honestly, I wouldn't really recommend someone to play the N64 fishing. But in this version, the removal of so many terrible bugs and no January split and Bandit is free, I'd say it's worth a shot. It's better than all the other Japanese bug and net runs. At least has... It's at the very least not worse than normal Animal Crossing. And it's the only Japanese bug and fish category I can even say that about, honestly. All the other ones are strictly worse. I could get into the reasons on why for that, but I'm not gonna. Alright, didn't PB. Probably by a very small amount. I'm missing PB here. That's okay. I think I'd want to upload this video anyway to YouTube. And then probably link it in the description or comments or something for anyone who's interested. It's a category worth running, in my opinion. Maybe the only one out of the Japanese bug and net runs worth running. If you, I mean, obviously if it's the version you have. Duh. Alright, here we go. Wait. Now that's time done. Oops. I forgot. No, it's not when you hold up the bug, it's when you do the fist pump after. So I stopped my timer early, but whatever. It's not PB anyway. And I golded by... It's a fake gold. So we're just gonna delete the fake gold there. So there. That's a pretty in-depth explanation of all the differences in the game. There isn't a golden net because there's no tournament, so you just split on that the same way you would split for, I mean, you would normally split on fist pump when you get the golden net, and when you finish debts and get the golden rod and all that. So yeah, the fishing in the N64 version, it's the same normal rules of fishing, except it also has this rule that the bugs here have, where, you have to have multiple fishing acres. You can't have one fishing acre, scare fish, run away, come back. There's not a fish there. The game remembers the last 2 acres you had fish in. So you have to have 3 consecutive good fishing acres. And that obviously means, you know, no waterfall, no where it dumps into the river. So if I looked at this town, the bottom half you can't use because waterfall in okay acre, but a bridge is there, whatever. That lake is obviously bad. So your options are either the bend next to the lake, the bridge, and then the other bend, those 3, or top river start, that, and then the bridge. And you'll get more bugs in the 2 outside ones because the middle one, half the time you run through it, won't have a fish in it because it's one of the last 2 you've scared fish from. So you kind of, the 2 outside ones are your good fishing acres and fishing. And so I probably would use the bridge as my middle because bridges obviously obstruct fish, and I'm going to get most of my fish in the outside 2 of the 3, and so I would use the bend, the bridge, and then the other bend. At least for that. For when I need to catch lake fish, I'd use lake, bend, bridge, and if I need to catch the waterfall fish, it'd have to be waterfall, lake, and then the one I have the opposite. So yeah, that's not ideal town for fishing, but whatever. And then all the ocean fish are gone, all the pond fish are gone, and arapaima is gone. So anything you can catch in a pond, frog, catfish, killifish, those 3 are gone. Which does mean if you catch a tiny, it's either goldfish, popeye, or guppy. The killifish being removed, it removes it from the rivers as well. But the removal of frog, crayfish doesn't really matter. The removal of jellyfish, barred knifejaw, red snapper, sea bass barely matters. You don't have to do jellyfish August 31st into September, but there still is salmon, so you do have to still go down there. And coelacanth exists. It is a flat 10% spawn rate every single month. Oh, and the time of day has to be between 4 a.m. and 9 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 9 a.m. Something like that. It's different than any other Animal Crossing version. The time difference is different. If I'm gonna be doing a short blurb on fishing, I should probably get that correct. I'm done with talking about bugs. This is really the only... the problem with the fishing is just that in this game, even though the bug... In this category, even though the bug is different, you can go in a circle and you still get okay times. You can still get an okay time in this category. With like decent luck, you can have a comparable time to GameCube because a lot of the bugs are removed. And in terms of enjoyment, all of the annoying bugs are removed, and Banded Dragonfly is free because it crosses acre borders. The only like bug that you could potentially get mad at for reasons other than it's rare is bee. You can still blow bee catches. It's not any easier or harder. I'd say it's not easier or harder, but I think lag means you have to make sure you're ready for the game to lag, and you end up having to swing later or something, just because lag. As long as you compensate for lag, which you don't have to compensate very much at all, then you're not really having any differences with in terms of bees. It's not any easier or harder. Okay, it's 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. only. 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. only in the N64 version is coelacanth. So if it's between 4 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and raining, 10% chance in every split. Yep. So I guess that's the difference with fishing. Isn't enjoyable because it's basically the exact same category. The fish that are removed aren't any like really terrible ones. The only 1% that was removed is arapaima. And arapaima is one of the easiest 1% because it's obvious. You see it and you're like, wow, that's an arapaima. You don't have to cast at it. Oh, is this an arapaima? It's huge. So they removed non-annoying fish. And then the 3-acre thing is so terrible. You can't do a 4-acre brick unless you have 4 river acres in a 2x2 brick. That doesn't really happen in Town Generation very commonly. I suppose it could happen, maybe. Maybe? I don't know if it could. So you have to use 3. It's annoying. And of those 3 acres, you'll probably have a bridge in one of them, and that's also annoying. And sometimes I won't have 3 in a row that aren't broken up by the lake and the waterfall, and then I reset that. So yeah, fishing is strictly, it's like an hour slower because of how much slower you encounter fish. This category, you encounter bugs at not that much of a worse rate. It's definitely slower bugs per minute, but all the annoying bugs are gone, and Banded Dragonfly is free. And so that's what makes this category worth running compared to why fishing isn't very fun. And in case you like bugs, the first GameCube port, DNM Plus, the first Japanese GameCube version for bugs, it's the same run as Animal Crossing, except, no codes for net, which is fine. If that was it, it'd be fine. But the problem is the rain. It's the same event kind of rain thing as in this game. Otherwise, it's just normal Western Animal Crossing. But yeah, rain possible in multiple splits in your run. So it's just gonna be annoying. I wouldn't run that category because it's just normal Animal Crossing, but with rain possible all over it, just in June and September. And then the other is E+. And E+ bugs add so much. The bugs added add so much time, and the bugs that are added are not fun. And they added bugs, and that moved around the tables for bugs that existed in normal Animal Crossing games, and that made some bugs harder that shouldn't be. And in general, I'd say E+ bugs is not that fun either. If you like bugs, I wouldn't recommend E+. I wouldn't recommend DNM+. DNM Plus is just more rain. The stuff added in E Plus is not fun or interesting. In terms of Rod, Rod in this game is not very good. DNM Plus Rod is first GameCube port. It's the same exact category, except, again, no Nook codes. No Nook codes is the only difference, though, because you don't care about rain. So the Rod, DNM Plus Rod is the most similar of the Japanese categories to the English categories. The biggest difference is you don't have codes, so you have to, get the 10,000 bell bag in January, spend 8,000 bells, so you buy 4 grab bags, and then come back. And that's it seems fine, but once you've spent 8,000 bells, he has 2 tools. It's either shovel, net, or rod, and so you can randomly not get rod. So it is worse than Western Animal Crossing, because 1/3 of the time you won't get a rod, and we'll have to reset over that. Or not reset over that, but at least lose a minute or so. So yeah, all the others are strictly worse, and E+ rod is similar to E+ net. Not the stuff that added is not fun, and it is a pain. So yes, closest to normal Animal Crossing would be DNM+ rod, but it's definitely a worse category unless you have a goal of playing all the categories and getting times all the categories. I'd recommend not that one. This is the only Japanese category that is as fun, maybe better than the English versions. And I think that's it. Now I'm actually done with this video. It's everything I could possibly tell you about what makes N64 unique, and I went through the other Japanese versions. And that's about it. I would recommend this one and none of the other ones. And I don't know exactly how many runs it'll take for me to actually get world record. This was still 10 minutes off. And I lost most of my time in, I guess, ways that would be reasonable in normal Animal Crossing. So I'll get a good run eventually, and I'll probably get world record, and then I already have world record in all the other Japanese categories for bugs and fish, other than this one. I don't care about all deaths in any version ever. So yeah, I've played them all. This is the only really one that's as good or maybe better. The other ones are all strictly worse, but some of them are maybe worth doing if you feel like it. And that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.